Hi, everybody. This is day 1634. Let's see if it's all working. Yep, looks like oh, that's YouTube. YouTube is working. Okay, Facebook is working. Okay. I just got to leave this on just a little bit. I can see everybody. I'm sorry I'm coming on very late again. It can't be helped, because so much is going on with the change of the administration. And this is such a big case. It involves so many agencies, as you saw yesterday. And, we only have 4 or 5 more days. 4 more days until President Trump is sworn in. It's amazing. Let's begin 1,634 days since Richard was brutally murdered, premeditatedly, on Fort Bliss. We have information that we've been breaking the last few days, and it seems like every day is breaking news with the tunnels and with other information coming in. And of course, we have our amicus brief that we submitted the last couple days, and it has been accepted into the Texas Supreme Court case between Ken Paxton and the Annunciation House there in El Paso. So that is like breaking news. And, we're 1,634 days since Richard was brutally murdered. And those days, you have to give and take on that, because there's been so much interference in our son's case that, we don't know the exact date. We have our timeline, and we have our suspicions because of events that happened all around it. So, we're doing absolutely trying to get as close as we can to everything and be as transparent as we can. That's why I come on every night. And of course, Facebook and others have censored us. Many of our videos are now, taken off, or, our TikTok taken down, but we're on Rumble, we're on YouTube. And of course, that's all being shadow banned because this case is so big. This case is using more agencies than 9/11. This case is using more agencies than Al Chapo's case, and many, many more, to the Boston city bomber, right? And we've just compared it to many, many other crimes, and we can't find anything where so many agencies are used. Not any. This is such a huge, and that's, when I come on here and tell you something, I'm not just pulling it out of thin air. We are absolutely researching it. And Richard's case is bigger than the Iran-Contra scandal. There's just, because it's international, because it's involving the military and smugglers in the military and cartel, the El Paso cartel and the Mexican cartel, and human trafficking and drug trafficking and military weapons and ammunition trafficking, military equipment trafficking. And people at the beginning would say, no, it couldn't be. We even said, no, it couldn't be. And then the evidence kept pointing to it. And there it is, right there it is. And then we get the articles like, President Jun in Korea, for 6 hours, initiated a martial law just a couple weeks ago, right? Just a few weeks ago. He just was arrested, by the way, and they impeached him, and very quickly, everything, very quickly impeached and arrested him. Um, but the same time that martial law was going on, and this is going to be so interesting what comes out of it. A Chinese illegal in California was arrested for uh, attempting to ship tactical move storage units, shipping units full of U.S. military equipment, weapons, ammunition, uniforms, all of that to North Korea. To North Korea. So that is, you know, I didn't make that up. That was reported. And I didn't make up the tunnels. That's been known. That's been reported over and over and over again. And now we have the Polaro Tunnel that, over and over and over again. There is so many, and I need to spend time and post all of the articles that confirm that those tunnels are being used for criminal trafficking, from human trafficking. And I just got sent from Team Farm Richard Halliday another article that is saying the worst things about this child trafficking and what they do to these children, and what ends up happening to these children. And we know that um, hundreds of thousands were processed through Fort Bliss, and they call them unaccompanied. But hundreds of thousands of children are not unaccompanied, y'all. They are taken. They are taken. Are unaccompanied children just floating around everywhere? No, these are taken children, and they were trafficked and they were processed through Fort Bliss. And we have witness testimony about how horrible, absolute how horrible, and that was reported also in the news. Hundreds of thousands, and now the reports are that they're mostly dead. And Richard was reporting on all of this, and he was being retaliated against for reporting. And now, and I'm a little melancholy, a little, uh, because I just put together that song, and I don't know if you had the time to listen to it, but when you're putting together lyrics like that, when you're putting together, um, and of course, I use the tools that we have in modern day to do that. I could never, get a band together and do that. You use programs, but still you've got to get the right tone, the right singers, voices, right? And this one just, of course, it's really, really moving to me because it's about Richard's the murder scene, right? The crime scene. And we wouldn't put that out unless we had evidence upon evidence. Just this week I was told you have robust evidence, or you have a robust amount of evidence, and I'm like, oh, okay, that's a good way of saying it. Yes, it's very robust. It's very, very robust. And, so Bob Moore of El Paso Matters is absolutely discredited for what he's done. He's absolutely complicit with the criminals. He associates with the prime suspects. And, we've had a very long, should I say, a relationship, a friendly relationship, with Dolores Montanez for a long time. And there are lessons learned from uh, from everyone that's involved in this. And I've been trying to put all that together, because what lessons learned from Dolores is that there was foul play, right? That Dallas Hart is Richard's platoon leader, that Joe Spencer is absolutely connected and tied into this, that Bob Moore is biased and complicit, that eh, and I'll put out even more, um, because lessons learned from Dolores is the VA is up to no good. That the Santa Teresa International Jetport is absolutely tied to this. So Walmart mass shooting is tied to this, and not in a good way, and not in a good way. And that the Hart family is totally they are absolutely involved in the retaliation, the murder, the connections with the cover up, everything. They are absolutely involved. And so it is it's heartbreaking because you learn these lessons, uh, that whistleblowers were attempted to be discredited, to be silenced. And of course, in Richard's case, he was murdered. So, this is absolutely an organized criminal group, and the Harts are absolutely involved. And it absolutely seeped into Richard's unit. Dallas Hart being Richard's platoon leader, and their cousin, CID Tavita Nusa, controlling cases, having access to cases. That not only did they have access, they also then committed fraud with the information that they were accessing. And that's where, in everything, and even the VA, the VA, you have access to the most sensitive information. And lessons learned from Dolores Montanez, there was access with the VA. And there was tampering at the Santa Teresa International Jetport. And Dallas Hart is Richard's platoon leader. And, it's just confirmation after confirmation from these lessons learned. So I'm going to try to play the song. It is, I'm going to try and see if I can do it. Let's see if I can make me small here and put this up. There it is. Okay, I think I can do it. And then I have to turn this on here. Here we go.
Do we have an emergency? And the answer is absolutely, we do.
No cameras inside at the Cobra's lair, where soldiers lived in their deepest fear. A basement dark, a room locked tight, where Richard lay out of sight. The arms room calls a deathly cue. A red seal secured, obscured the crime scene's view. Smugglers of Fort Bliss, a leader's shame. No cameras, no guard, where Cobra strikes its claim. Where soldiers die and secrets hide in building 2479. No honor resigns. Cries call out, though the door's locked tight. Who will answer for that final night?
They failed to see, they failed to care, as Richard Halliday laid so bare. A struggle silenced, an attempt to erase leaders' crime. CID sealed the place. The arms rose blood, it paints the floor, where soldiers die so they can traffic more. The guilty hearts have grown smuggled away. A soldier's remains, justice will break these walls of pain. Smugglers are for bliss, a leader's shame. No cameras, no guard where Cobra strikes its claim. Where soldiers die and secrets hide in building 2479, no one resides. Building 2479, a renovated hell where cover-up died and leaders fell. The scales are tipping, time's running out. To those involved, do you feel that doubt? Richard Halliday, let your name be heard. Cameras caught the seal, look close, truth won't hide. In the shadows of the past, justice will collide. As the scales are tipping, there's nowhere to run. The guilty will face it, the reckoning's begun.
Yeah, that's it. Thank you, Danielle, for saying that. It's going to take me a little bit to get through that, making that, and it gets worse, really. It gets worse. Because Richard, he's not the only one. And, we cannot tolerate this. We cannot tolerate this from our leadership. And that's why I feel like watching the hearings and the games that they play, their political posturing and everything. It is so disgusting to me. And I'm not allowed to get mad, right? You're not allowed to get mad. You're not allowed to cry. You're not allowed to throw anything at them. You just have to stay very calm and watch their absolute evil little displays instead of really caring for our country and our people. And it's just so obvious, right? And while they're doing their little posturing displays, we have, our service members suffering. And then they wonder why they can't recruit more. You got service members dying, or you know uh, everything else, right? You know it. And then they, why can't we recruit? And then we have others waving carrots. You know, you and it's not just in the military, right? It's the finances. When Trump says, "Let's not have the internal revenue, let's have the external revenue," people are just so ready to hear that, right? They're so ready to hear it, and let's pray. Let's pray um, that he means good, that he's not up to no good, right? That he means good. Um, this is a situation that we're in, uh, and I think he was right all along, because a lot of it has to do with the breaches in security. If it's the border, if it's Fort Bliss, if it's the arms room, if it's the Pentagon, the breaches of security in the Pentagon, right? We breaches of security. We know for a fact that CID Quantico, there's breaches of security with Bob Moore. And that's, anyone can figure that out if they're paying attention to this case, and the bias that Bob Moore in El Paso. And I want to be very, very clear why Bob Moore and El Paso Matters and El Paso Community Foundation is doing what they're doing, because they are connected to the crime. They are connected to the crime in the Walmart case. They are connected to the crime in Richard's case. They are connected. They associate. Look, we have tried to contact, before this Christmas episode happened, we have attempted to contact Bob Moore. We 15, no less than 15 times, and then sending a cease and desist. And and he doesn't respond, yet he's associating with the prime suspects in this case. He's associating with them, um with many of them, and then he's using a convicted criminal, um organizing or facilitating the worst crimes against children, Lilani Hart, um, and a family that is committed, or implicated in the worst crimes against children, and in their own family, amongst their own family members, in the worst illegal ways. These are the illegal ways. And he's using her as and she's a prime suspect, and he's using the prime suspect to tamper and interfere, and try to discredit a whistleblower. It's like, it's so clear, it's so obvious that they're up to no good. And when you're looking at the money values, it was shocking that they had, in the Walmart Mass Shooting Victims Fund, over $12 million. And that's not including all of the trafficking going on, or the contracts, the government contracts. Um, you know, don't forget about Nadal Baim, and $3 million bidding for a contract for ammunition. Where did he get the ammunition when he is connected through the Mercedes, through James Courtney Hart to Dallas Hart? Where is he? Western Frontier Trading. And don't forget, connected conflicts of interest with Nieto, with Jesus Nieto, the FBI, who when he received the whistleblower complaint from Judge Roger Rodriguez, when he received that in a judge's official capacity, right? Um, he leaked it to Leilani Hart and Tavita Nusa, endangering the whistleblower, endangering a judicial officer. I mean, he needs to be, and not arresting Leilani Hart when absolutely after that notarized affidavit, which was submitted in that same time period where Richard was murdered. And she's not arrested. The family members are not arrested because either way you look at it, she has to be arrested. Absolutely. You cannot get away with lying to authorities. You can't get away with facilitating and failing to report the worst type of crime against a child in your master bedroom by multiple members of your family, of your household, especially when one is in uniform, a uniform officer at Fort Bliss and in Richard's unit and Richard's platoon leader. Richard's platoon leader. And, with Danae Katzen and 3905 Bliss Avenue, absolutely connecting, tying Richard's unit with the Walmart mass shooting. And Mr. Bob Moore is biased? Yes, he is. He's absolutely biased because he has all of this information. And, so uh, we are trying to hold these individuals that have the ability to do something about it. They have the authority to do something about it, like the county attorney who, went there. She went there. She went to the Texas Supreme Court, so we went there too. We went there too. And we said, how in the world does she have any credibility if she's allowing individuals to impersonate judges on the El Paso Criminal Law Magistrate Court, denying the El Paso County residents of their right to vote, denying their voice, their justice, obstructing, denying their civil rights to justice. And then to pay, to allow the payment to an illegal that is not even qualified to be the chief medical examiner since 2014. This is criminal. And then, to allow the scheming, online scheming, so much evidence by Bob Moore, by Bill Hicks, by Joe Spencer, by Justin Underwood to remove and replace a duly elected district attorney. And she thinks she has something to say to Ken Paxton. No, we stand with Ken Paxton on this one. It's obvious. It's easy. It's the only side to stand with. An Annunciation House. Yeah, that's a whole nother story. And I want to say this, Mexico, because this is international, they also intentionally interfered with this case. And it is interesting that President Trump did not invite the Mexican president to his inauguration. I think that's very interesting. And I wanted to mention that the last two nights I kept putting Mexico up there. But so much information because I'm looking at what they're trying to do with Pam Bondi, what they're trying to do with um, Pete Hegseth, what they're trying to do. Ratcliffe was very interesting today with the CIA, and of course, um, the Department of State from Florida, and I know his name really well, but he knows this case because we were in connection with him when it first began because of we were living in Florida at the time. So, Danielle, let me read what you're saying. And justice for all other soldiers that became victims to criminal leadership. Yes, and it does get worse. Just straight evil. They are in, yes, absolutely. Um, and so we have a duty. We, you know, I've never been of the mind that the government has to do everything for me. And neither has my husband. We have served, um, well, Rob has served, and I have served by his side to support him so that he can do the best job that he possibly can do to defend our Constitution, and be the best soldier, the best physician assistant. He was a medic. He was E3, E4, E5, E6. Then he went to PA school and was a warrant officer, and then he came out uh, as a warrant officer, and then during the Desert Storm, Desert Shield, they um, commissioned anybody that had a 4-year degree that was a physician assistant. And so he was commissioned from a CW3 to a captain with time and grade. He wasn't happy about that, going to a captain, but there it was. And he made major then quickly, and of course, lieutenant colonel. And he retired as a lieutenant colonel, 30 years of service. And you we want the best for our country. And to see it get infiltrated by a bunch of cartel smugglers and traffickers that intentionally use our system to harm our volunteer sons and daughters. It's like, you know, um, we're at war and no one's paying attention. And the war is coming in internally, sneaky Pete's. And some of them are, American citizens. These are traitors. Mealy is a traitor. McConville is a traitor. Sean Bernabe is a traitor, a total traitor. Donna Martin is a traitor. Michael Xavier Garrett is a traitor. And they have their little groupies around them, be it family or keyboard warriors that, asymmetric warfare tacticians that, or PAOs that are absolute traitors. Or maybe some on the civilian side, like Bob Moore, who collude and get information from CID Quantico and are traitors. And those that say they're collecting money for the victims of the Walmart fund, and then what do they do with that money? I think that is like such a sick crime, because we are a volunteer country, and we are a very giving country. That's why we have our GoFundMe's and everything because we want to give to people in needs. I mean, even when we have a corrupt government like in California, we see the people and we're like, your house burnt down, you couldn't get insurance, we want to give. But then you have these governments that say, hey, I'm going to do it all for you. These agencies that say they're going to do it all for you, but then they don't. They don't. They are, um, they're the worst type of criminals. With a government like this, who needs enemies, right? Who needs a war with a government like this? And so the reckoning's coming, and we've got 4 days, 4 days to get through this. But this last 4 years has been absolutely hell, and so destructive. Because if they wanted to make us healthy, right? If they wanted to help us be healthy, they would first and foremost give us, and they have every know-how. They have it would be very easy to do, and that is to give us they have the ability to give us good clean water, just good clean cheap good clean water. And they look, you have Gavin Newsom not even opening up the water for the fires. He rather have his city burn so that he can posture politically. It's disgusting. And this is what is happening in our military. These generals, they're wearing these traitors. These traitors are wearing our beautiful uniforms, wearing our beautiful stars, getting all the benefits, getting all the respect that uniform and the star deserve, and absolutely has to have a functioning military, and they are traitors. They need to be stripped of all of those benefits and that respect, and we need to have individuals that are loyal to this country in those uniforms, wearing those stars. That's what we need to have, and we need to hold them accountable to be loyal. It's like, being happy, or, I've always told the kids, being happy is a choice. You've got to get up in the morning and, wash your face and brush your hair and brush your teeth. And being happy is a choice. And, that has come in really, really handy during all of this, because let me tell you, after making that song, I have to shake it off. I have to go wash my face and brush my hair and brush my teeth and say, no, you are going to, Patricia Halliday, be happy that the reckoning is coming, that Trump is president of the United States, that he will be sworn in, and this gives us a huge chance of restraining this evil. And what do I mean by, it's not, of course, he's so apt. He is Donald Trump, I mean, he's so apt. He's so capable. Look at what all he's done. It's just incredible. But he's got a mandate. He's got by the people, for the people, of the people behind him. He's got the mandate. He got the popular vote. He got all 7 swing states. And under immense opposition by media, he has got a mandate. And that mandate is so important, because that's what gives him power. And, so we'll see what he does the first 100 days, right? Everyone's talking about the first 100 days, the first day. And he says, top of the list is border security. Well, the epicenter for the border security is El Paso, right? It's the epicenter. And that's why it's so fought over. It is the front lines. And it is the front lines. So that's why this is so important to us, because we know that in all of that, we can put forth our amicuses. We can give our opinion. When all of that starts happening, that we better be very prepared to contribute. Everybody, say Richard Halliday's name. And therefore, we pray we'll get Richard's remains, and we will get justice for the murder, for really the retaliation too. How can they abuse their power like they did in Richard's case? You're talking about those agencies, 15 plus, 20 plus agencies abusing their power. And I've had people say, how can that be? I said, well, just the narcotics alone is $90 billion a year. People do, when the economy sucks, when your taxes are so, you got all these regulations, and, you're just in a web of trying to make it, people will compromise themselves. And poor leadership makes those webs, and allows the cartels, the organized crime, to come in and set up shop in our own military, on our own military installations, in our courts, in our prosecutor's office, in our, like I said, in the justice system, in the medical examiner's office, and of course in Washington, D.C. And so these hearings, uh, I mean, all you have to do is watch about 5 minutes of it, and you absolutely know that what I'm saying is backed up with evidence. And so we're really looking forward to 4 days from now, when the reckoning is coming, and no doubt, no doubt, those that committed these crimes are, feeling it. They're absolutely feeling it. And we have over and over and over again given every opportunity for them to come clean, to come forward, to, confess, confess. And, so, um, that's what's going on. Richard is a whistleblower, an official whistleblower. And he's a MAGA. He was a MAGA. He was a Mark Dice MAGA, uh, you know, and the whistleblower Judge Roger Rodriguez, is also MAGA. He's the only MAGA judge on the border. He was, of course he is, because he was the coordinator for terrorism and homeland security at Fort Bliss. So, of course, he was concerned about the border, because he knew about the cartels, and that they were no different from terroristic groups. And they were coming over. And there's a problem. There's an emergency. And there is. And that just blew us away, that video, that news. That was from January 16th, 2019. Um, that just blew us away. So, Yeah, of course. He is a MAGA, Make America Great Again. He's for border security. So Richard was for border security. Judge Rodriguez is for border security. And Trump is for border security. So I think we have, um, you know, it's looking good. It's looking good. And for the Texas Supreme Court to accept our amicus brief, that was very good. And and there's a lot more going on because of the arms room, because of the seal number. The seal number led to other numbers, and Borstar and other agencies that they didn't even want to tell us about Borstar, right? They didn't want to tell us about it. We had to figure it out. They didn't want to tell us about the dog, they really misled us, and they were probably laughing at us then. That's how evil these people are. That's how evil they are. And they wanted a really false narrative about Richard given to the public. That's how deceptive they are and up to no good. And they're traitors. That's what traitors do. They deceive. And Bob Moore is a traitor, and he gets a 501c3 tax-free status. He that has to be stripped. If you want to go and be your biased self, you need to do it on your own dime. You can't say I'm going to be neutral and then be biased. So, yeah, and then the VA, y'all, the VA. We absolutely have evidence, really, right from Lilani, but we have more evidence that they have access and they abuse the access. They impersonate individuals because they have access to their identity, and it gets bad because it's about the death benefits, right? It's about the disabled benefits. It's about the death benefits. And wherever there is an open pocketbook or a pocketbook, they're going to find a way to get through the security and get access. And yeah, but where's the oversight and where's the accountability for this kind of crime? So, and don't forget that it was weeks before we called. And so, they just got real happy, I think. They just got real happy and they did some really, really evil things. Very evil things. And anyway, so, they mean it for evil, but God means it for good. And I'm just amazed every day of what is happening with this case. And yeah, I want you all to be happy that the reckoning is coming. And Trump's administration calls it the golden age. The golden age. So yeah, we stand on your optimism. We stand on what the future has to hold. And this country, we can never forget it, is the Constitution doesn't give the people rights. The Constitution is what gives it's the order, it's the rights that the government has. I shouldn't call it rights. It's what it restrains the government. It tells the government what to do, what they're allowed to do. And we can never forget what a blessing that is, that they are not allowed to be tyrannical. And that law is on our side. And it has been absolutely the main tool to get the declaration of death and to hold them to their jobs, to do their jobs, so we could hold the murderers accountable, and it will be absolutely key to getting Richard's remains back. So thank you, everyone. God bless you, and I will be back tomorrow, God willing. Bye bye.